Canon finally did it. They fixed the biggest issue they've had in every single one of their RF mount cameras for the last 6 years. So ever since Canon released their first ever RF mount camera, the Canon EOS R, back in 2018, they've been consistently releasing some amazing cameras, ranging from the most affordable interchangeable lens camera you can buy from any brand, the Canon R100, at like $450, all the way up to, of course, their flagship cameras like the R5, the R3, and then of course you have the Canon R50, which I've been saying for over a year now is pretty much the best beginner hybrid camera for anybody just getting started in photos and videos. But the thing is, with interchangeable lens cameras, it doesn't matter how good or how powerful the camera is if you don't have the right lens for what you need. The lens that you choose is just as important as the camera body. Real quick, I just released my brand new Lightroom preset pack that you can pick up right now for only $5. It comes with 5 presets that I custom made to work with any style of photo you want to take, and of course they're going to work with any photo from any camera and any lens. So with literally one click, these are going to completely transform your photos and save you a ton of time photo editing. And like I said, they're only $5, so go check those out down in the description. Now let's get back to the video. And so now for the issue that Canon has had for the last 6 years, ever since they released their first ever RF mount camera, is that their lens collection for the RF mount has been extremely limited. And for the most part, all of the lenses that Canon's released have been professional, high-end, expensive L-series lenses. In which, of course, for the market that these lenses were released for, these are awesome lenses. Like, they're really world-class, high-performing, expensive, great lenses. And a lot of professional photographers and videographers loved these lenses Canon released. However, there is a market that has really been lacking, and that is budget RF mount lenses. Especially, like I said, with the release of a lot more budget RF mount cameras that Canon's been releasing, they've really just been slacking on these budget RF mount lenses. For some reason, which is probably money, Canon has not let any third-party manufacturers create autofocus lenses for the Canon RF mount. And so what this has meant is the only lenses you could buy for the R50, for the EOS R, the R7, R8, R5, R6, there's so many RF mount cameras now. But if you want an autofocus lens for a Canon RF camera, the only option you have is to buy directly from Canon. And now, like I said, Canon has made some amazing, really high performance lenses for the RF mount, but what they really haven't been releasing much of is these budget lenses that a majority of people use. I would say probably 75% of people buying an interchangeable lens camera are never gonna spend more than, $1,000 or especially not a couple $1,000s on a single lens for that camera. The biggest market for cameras is the medium to low end, where there's beginners, there's casual people that aren't professionals, that aren't making tons of money from photography and video, that just can't realistically afford to spend thousands of dollars on a camera body, and then also thousands of dollars on each and every single lens that they purchase for it. But finally, after 6 years of Canon limiting this and just not offering a good selection of budget RF autofocus lenses, it looks like they're finally loosening up on not allowing third-party manufacturers to create lenses for the RF mount system. Because Sigma, pretty much the biggest third-party lens manufacturer, they just announced that they're going to be releasing a bunch of autofocus lenses for the RF lens mount, which of course they legally couldn't do because of Canon this whole time. So it looks like Canon is finally loosening up on this, and we're probably going to start to see a bunch of other third-party manufacturers creating autofocus RF mount lenses. Finally, like they should have been doing since the very beginning, we're going to start seeing a bunch more options for Canon RF lenses. And so it looks like Sigma just announced some APS-C only lenses. So it looks like they're starting out with the APS-C lenses, which honestly makes sense because that's where a majority of the budget market is. So it looks like, to start things out, the first third-party RF lenses with autofocus are going to be the Sigma 18 to 50mm f2.8, and then they're also releasing their 10 to 18mm f2.8 for APS-C, which will be another great lens to have for the RF mount. And they're also releasing their classic APS-C lenses that they've had on the Canon EF-M mount, even the Sony E mount and Micro Four Thirds, for many years now. The Sigma 16mm f1.4, 23 f1.4, 30 and 56 f1.4 lenses. So a total of 6 Sigma APS-C autofocus lenses are going to be coming out for the RF mount this year. It honestly might not seem like that big of a deal right now. Sigma's just releasing new lenses, but this really is one of the best decisions Canon could have made for their RF mount. I really have no clue why Canon has been this stingy about allowing third parties to make lenses for the RF mount, but I personally could not be more excited to see what type of lens options we're going to be getting from third parties over the next couple of years.